Okay, a very good morning, a good afternoon and good evening to all on frequency. This is ZA6YI operating running the DATV Net for Sunday the 15th of March 2026. Can you believe the year so far advanced already? I just want to turn down this volume a little bit and then we can get on. On the net today we have some of the following people. Let me just see if I can call it up quick. I can. And then we can see it's not a lot of people, but it's nice. Let's bring up the list. We have Benno to follow me, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray. He's in the Netherlands. We then followed by Phil in the UK, Mike 0 PIT. And then to Nigel, who's still testing. That'll be interesting to see Nigel, Mike 9 November Tango Romeo. And Nigel, you pass it to Simon G4ELI, who wants to take his dog out for a walk. So we'll keep the over short. And then to Martin G8KOE. You must have heard your ears burning, Martin. And then Martin, you pass it to Peter in Wales, GW7BZY. And then Peter to Paul in the Netherlands. He's just going to take a short over and say hello. That's Papa Echo 1 Alpha Victor Papa. So we have quite a nice net on. I also do want to thank the Qatar Satellite Company for allowing us on their satellite with our amateur satellite, which was developed by the guys in Germany, AMSAT DL. Also with great help from AMSAT UK and the BATC. Without those two organizations as well, it would have been very difficult for many of the amateurs to come on. Right, with that, we pass it to you, Benno, if you don't mind taking it. Let me just sorry, I just want to get this. There we go. So, Benno, to you, sir. Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray to take it from ZA6 Yankee India.
Hi guys, Gary, thanks for leading the net. You're doing a marvelous job as always, and I want to greet the world looking at the nice signals from the Qatar satellite. Yeah, it's doing a nice job, and without them we would have a lot of disappointment trying to reach each other. Besides having very nice weather outside, haven't done much today. A little bit cleaning up and finishing up today, because I have worked the last few days on our local 23 centimeter repeater, where I added an All-Star modem. So we have a nice hardware connection with the 23 centimeters to All-Star network, and I'm using All-Star network to connect through to Echolink, but also can connect to other things, and that makes it very versatile, and gives me a lot of options there. Only to get a little bit more activity on 23 centimeters, because that band we still need to take care of. A few weeks ago we had a nice article. We all know that the 23 centimeters is under pressure, to say the least. The guys who wants more GPS navigation on our frequency wants the whole well, a big part of our 23 centimeter band, and that means that, for instance, our inputs, which were 28 megahertz below the transmitting frequency of 1298. Well, 1270 was right in the middle of that GPS band, and so the general idea now is to move to a 41 megahertz shift. And actually I made some work already and moved it down the receiving part, and we are testing at the moment with the setup here. If all the users can still use the repeater as normal with 41 megahertz shift downwards, negative shift, so the input is on 1257, which is just back in our official band where we can transmit a decent power. And obviously our DATV and amateur TV, the FM TV, needs to go down or has to be left alone in total. But we have to see what's going there and which way we are heading up there. So yeah, it's not official yet, but in order to be able to test if everything will work, and I think we leave it also this way for now, see if we get problems organizing this. So that means our 23 centimeters has now a 41 megahertz shift downwards and a Echolink input, and that makes it a little bit more activity, I hope. At least that's the general idea. The nice thing, the nice easy thing is now we can also connect it to other repeaters. So we can connect to the repeaters worldwide via internet and connect our local repeater to that on our demand, on our wishes, and that's all the last part which needs to be talked about. What do the end users want? But that's not my problem. I just happen to make things work and let the other guys figure out what we want actually with it. That's basically it for now. Passing it on to Phil. M0PIT from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray. Try to see quickly if I had something on the BATC chat. I haven't put it open, so that's my bad. A little bit more audio. That's a little bit late. Sorry for that, Rolf from PA3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray. Passing it on to you, Phil, from PA3 Fox Bravo X-Ray. Test card. Do I have a test card? Somewhere along the line I have a test card.
Oh, no test card. That's not very professional, is it? Oh, turn the audio down. That's better. Thanks, Benno. Good afternoon, all, or good morning, or good evening, wherever you are. It's pretty miserable here. It's not very warm. I think it's just stopped raining, but it's not very nice outside. And we've had to have the heater on to heat the shack up. What have I been up to? Well, I've only done a couple of things, been busy with all sorts of other things, but what have I done? my whisper, experimental whisper device, or beacon should I call it. Yeah, it's now finished in terms of it works. I was going to put it on a printed circuit board, which I started to design, but I probably won't, because I know I will get bored with it. But it does work. I've modified the program slightly. It's not my program, but I modified it slightly. So it's got a couple of LEDs on it, so when it's not running it's got a blue flashing LED, and when it does going to transmit it's a red flashing LED. Nothing really exciting, but it does work. As I say, it's not my design. The output stage I had a lot of problems with until I realised that I was only feeding it with 5 volts instead of 9 volts, and then the power level started to come up, and I tweaked it up, and I've actually got 150 milliwatts out of it, and that's after the filter. But yeah, that was, yeah, it's working. So I'm up on the whisper net now. But as I say, the weather's not good here, so propagation is pretty bad. Anyhow, what else have I been doing? Well, a friend of mine has got a flex radio, and we were talking at the radio club last week, and he mentioned that he was wanting to turn his flex radio off remotely from the Raspberry Pi that he uses to monitor it remotely. And he was talking about using an RS-232 or USB to RS-232 and playing around with that to use a data terminal ready to turn off the radio, which sort of frightened me a bit because of USB on Linux is not the nicest thing to play around with. Well, that's my experience anyhow. Anyhow, I went away, and I am no programmer, I will point out. I dabble. I normally use other people's programs that I rip to bits and take bits out, and I find it extremely frustrating, like I did with this little program. My idea was to just toggle one of the GPIO ports on the Raspberry Pi, which I'd never played around with. I've never done any real programming on the Raspberry Pi, and I thought, well, it can't be that difficult to toggle one of the GPIO ports. So having found a suitable library and some code, and I started to play around with that, rip the code down to the bits that I want, and eventually it did work eventually. Extremely frustrating, but the joy I get from when it works is tremendous. There's a lot of frustrating because I say I don't know what I'm doing, but if I can get it to work, there's a lot of reward. Which I had this morning, funnily enough. He wanted this little program, and it seemed to run, it compiled okay, but it didn't seem to toggle the I/O port. And anyhow, to cut a long story short, it wasn't until I ran a little command, which is a GPIO read all. When I did that, it gives you a list of all the pins and what they do, blah, blah, blah. And then I realised that the pin that I was using wasn't the same pin that the GPIO numbering was on. I was using what I thought was GPIO pin 25. That was in the program. But in actual fact, on the board, it toggles 26, and And when I found that out, I really couldn't understand what on earth was going on. And then I found this command, and it just gave me a list, and that explained all. But as I say, I dabble. I am not a programmer. I just fumble around, and then when it works, after a lot of struggling and heartache, there's a lot of reward. But anyhow, I've written this program. I'll mention it send an email to my mate, and we'll see if he's interested in using it. Anyhow, that's what I've been up to. Now, I think, looking at the list, Simon's going to jump in instead of Nigel. So I shall hand it over to you, Simon, but maybe just give it a few seconds to see if Nigel does jump in. Right, I'm going to find my test card, which is here, and then I shall kill carrier, and it's over to...
There we go. That's me, G4ELI. Good afternoon, everyone. Pretty well just going to repeat what I said to Gary before, getting things woken up. Yeah, I'm on this afternoon because the weather's not really very good, and it should be getting better in an hour's time or so, so I'll take the dog out a bit later for his afternoon walk. Obviously, the only thing I've been really doing of any consequence, satellite-wise, is working on SDR television. I released version 109 some days ago. And I'm quite very optimistic I'll have version 1.1 out for Easter with better frequency tracking. That's the main thing to do. I'm currently working on the gain when you're running SDR console on QO-100. I'm working on the transmit gain. I changed internal filtering for anyone who's interested. Pluto and Libra, they use analog devices chips, and they're very complex chips. And you design your own filtering, finite input. Stop it! Finite impulse response filters, and you have to design your own filters. And any filter has gain in the hardware filters. Of course, you don't have gain, but with software filters, you do have gain. And as a result, you can have too much gain or too little. And I changed something to give a cleaner signal on DATV. And I'm going to restore the gain that we've lost on sideband. So that's it. Hardware-wise, the only thing I've got planned is to get my dish properly aligned. I do think the dish is pointing in the right direction, but I've mucked up my potty feed. I've got a small lens in it, which I shouldn't have, as I have a prime focus dish. And I probably don't have it in the optimum position. And we're in for some nice weather this coming week, which will be nice. So that's the plan. And I'll probably do it together with Mike, G0MJW. So there we go. I won't be on for a second round if there's going to be one, because looking at the time, it's about 3:20. There you are. You can just see the head of the monster. I will make a recording, though, and I'll come back and I'll watch the recording. But I will be hanging around for a bit, I think. So next on the list is Martin, using some dodgy software he found on the internet. Over to you, Martin. G8KOE from a Springer Spaniel and myself, G4ELI.
Yeah, certainly some dodgy software. Yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, we're lost for thoughts now. Yeah, I've got my friend here. It's I don't know if I've got the right account. This year's that's Ruby. Anyway, yeah, no, the software is working very well. Wrong now. That's it. Yeah, the software's working very, very well now. Thank you, Simon. The only thing I keep making a mistake of is when I'm selecting on the spectrum. I think I've clicked on the 333 box and I've actually clicked on the 250 one. I'm wondering why it's not decoding a signal, but that's just a me error. I think the eyes just aren't quite as good as they used to be, even though I've got a big monitor. What have I been up to? Well, I chatted to Phil. So I've been having internet problems. There's the ongoing story of BT and OpenReach and BT and OpenReach. But anyway, having got and printed out the sort of things, the highlighted yellow bits is just looking at the WAN. Is DSL link down and duration on one of them is 10319 seconds, and the other one is 18256 seconds. One's at 6 o'clock and one was at 9 o'clock on the 14th. Well, looking back at the logs, this has been happening right back to the beginning of the year, to be quite honest. And what it does is not every time, but it causes the router to do a total reset, which is an absolute pain in the what's it. If it doesn't do a total reset, I think it you think, things aren't working. The internet's a bit slow, and then it starts working again. I'm not an expert, but OpenReach was supposed to come out on Thursday, which they didn't, and they wound the call forward, and Friday they haven't. And anyway, they say it's going to be fixed, according to online, on Monday, but I don't believe them. So I have complaint after complaint. But anyway, that's my woes. The other thing is that I was going to join the net on Thursday, the BATC net, but my receive signal went down to I could hardly receive anybody, and my lens had fallen out, which of the dish. Which, if I go over to there, the NAF picture, but it's now taped in on the end. A bit of the sort of, well, I got up on the roof and I was going to do a nice job of it, and it rained. It was nice and sunny when I went up, but then it rained. That's held in by the sort of tape that you have that holds bandages in place. So that's the dish I use. The transmit was okay. It was just the receiver on my potty. So in fact, since I've put a bit of tape on there, it's working exceedingly well, better than it's worked for a while. So I'm wondering whether it's been on the move. But we shall see. And before I forget, hi to Mario, KD6 ILO, who I haven't spoken to for a while, but I've seen him around. And yeah, good to see you. Let's go back to camera. Whisper, that was right. That was the other thing. Yeah, I'm running the old Whisper station as well, which has been going for, I don't know when I switched it on now. I cheat. Mine's just a bit of commercial kit, so I can't take any credit for it. But if we go back to the screen, there we go. That's on 20 meters. The last 24 hours. So it's sort of getting out reasonably, but it's on 100 milliwatts. I think that's about it from me. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So, and the flowers in the background aren't for me. I'm not trying to compete with Martin FKK, who won't be watching anyway. But that's Carol's pictures, flowers rather. Anyway, we'll put up a test card. We'll put up a different test card, I think, something I've been playing with, which is sad in a way, but I find it amusing that it's round to GW7BZY beta. So get things ready, and a test card, and it's going to be all yours.
Okay, GW7BZY without a test card. I had a test card lined up, but I had a bit of a disaster. Just GW7BZY without a test card. I had a test card lined up. The driver PA wasn't working, and then I investigated and found out the socket from that to the PA had fallen off, and when I soldered it back on, the power wires fell off. It's sort of suspended between two bits of coax between the amp and the Pluto. Nicely boxed. No, it's not. It's just there. Anyhow, fatigue, etc. It just all fell to bits. Anyway, I've resoldered it and got it going again, and it seems to be working significantly better. So my soldering this time was obviously better than last time in connecting it. I think it was just bridging it a little bit as the inner to the outer on the output. So obviously not causing a significant problem, but it certainly was maybe reducing the power by a few dB. Anyway, it's working. All's good. All's well that ends well. Eh? I haven't done anything. I've been out and about doing stuff. I haven't looked at a computer since probably a week now. Since I was last on, so I've still got a room full of DVDs that I've lost interest in copying onto the hard drive, and for the moment lost complete interest in it. So I'll get back to it probably. Another thing on the back burner. What else? Not a lot really. I haven't seen anybody because. Of course, it wouldn't RX either. For whatever reason, the receiver wouldn't work. I'm a little bit. It's getting a bit flaky. The mini, not the mini tuner one. The one with the Pico Pi in it. That's probably my soldering, and it's getting a bit flaky now. So it doesn't always fire up and run faultlessly. Of course, I have had a update from Windows, so that might not help at all. Anyway, so I hand it round. I don't know who's next. I saw a little bit of Gary's Martin's KO's transmission there regarding his internet not working or his router. So I'm sorry to hear that. I'm with 3 or BT, whichever. Is it EE? No, EE. Stroke 3, but stroke BT. And it's been working perfectly. I've had no problem with it. It's not as fast as they should say it should be, but it always starts well and then slows down, doesn't it, when you're not looking. Anyhow, I'll hand it round and see what the others have to say from GW7BZY. I'm going to go to my test card now. I've added a DSK just for entertainment purposes on my picture. Downstream key, the little widget on the bottom corner.
Check audio. Check audio. Yeah, that seems to work. That's really good. So, good afternoon to anyone watching the net from the Netherlands. Gary, as usual, thank you for hosting the net. Looking outside at the moment, it's a blue sky, completely blue sky. Temperature is 12 degrees. Which means that the weather is getting better and the days become more light, meaning that in South Africa it's the opposite, of course. I was not on the net during the last 2 Sundays for social reasons mainly, like celebrating birthdays and so in the family. Yeah, that sometimes happens, and even more often than sometimes. I didn't do that much on radio, but I have been very busy. Yeah, that means I'm retired. But it seems as if I'm more busy than ever. Yeah, I said I did not do much on radio. However, I was able to buy a real power meter from Gigatronics. And well, actually that makes me really happy. I wanted to have a reference device to see whether other equipment shows the right output level, power level, and I'm going to use the Gigatronics power meter with its power head as the reference device. So yeah, I'm happy with it. And the second thing that happened, it's not really radio related, but since 2 weeks now we've got fiber for the internet, meaning that I have a bandwidth available now for download and upload of a gigabit per second, and that's ways much better than the 13 megabits per second that I had before. So yeah, I'm happy. Okay, what have I been doing? I followed latest news intensively. That means what's happening in the Middle East at the moment. But that is something not to comment on, I think, here on the satellite, so I won't do that. I worked on the car again and drove the first kilometers, which was nice. It does not mean that it is completely okay. There is always still something to tune on the car, but the fact that I have been able to drive it for a few kilometers means that it still improves. Okay, furthermore, helped neighbors with water and sinks, for example. I ran interviews, many interviews with students on the college nearby. Cared for my grandchildren, cooked a lot, and so on and so on. And yesterday we had our repair cafe again. Had a lot of customers. And one of the customers was interesting. That was a customer who brought a Bosch vacuum cleaner with power control, done via a remote. I had never seen that before, and that remote power control works probably with Bluetooth. I don't know exactly, but yeah. When you make vacuum cleaners that complex and it doesn't work, that means the remote control doesn't work, and changing of batteries doesn't help. It simply means that you have to throw your vacuum cleaner away. It's horrible. But furthermore, we were able to repair a lot, and that still makes fun. That means repairing makes fun, but also the social contact with the people visiting the repair shop. That also makes fun. Okay, and then especially for Simon, thanks a lot for your excellent work. Personally, I am following your work and also experimenting with SDR television in combination with the Libre SDR. I must say that it really works fine. I learned that you're still trying to improve, especially on the quality of reception, although I'm not the one complaining, because the reception was already fine on your, what was it, version 106. Yeah, that was the latest version that I have operational here. Okay, furthermore, not much to comment on, so I hand over to South Africa to... No, I see now, before I make that statement, I hand over to Mike. Mike, it's a long time ago that I saw you here. So I'm handing over to Mike. Okay, please go ahead after showing my test card.
Right, let's hope this works. I'm using Simon's latest SDR television, and the one thing it doesn't do when I'm using the Libra SDR, which is what I'm using, is control the PTT. I have no idea if the lip sync is anywhere near accurate. We can test that if you like, but I haven't tested it, so yeah, probably miles out. Anyway, all good. Not been on for a while. I've been in Geneva for the past 2 weeks, and while I was there, managed to get the club station up on QO-100, which was good. Worked a few people, about 50 or 60 or so. But the good news is I managed to get Attila's TV system working. So he's got two options now. One is SDR television, which worked very well up there on the relatively small dish, but there are two dishes, one for transmit and one for to receive, so it's not that bad. The main issue for TV, though, is the power. It needs more power for a smaller dish, which is not there at the moment. But things are in plan, I think, to improve that. So at some point you might see television coming from the headquarters station, which would be good. Be a new DXCC if anyone ever collects those on television. Yeah, an SDR TV, it seems to be working very well. I'm just checking the picture every so often, so I'm looking to the side, and it seems okay. So that's good. I don't know if the levels are okay or not, but yeah, it's good. Now, one thing I was going to do is just show you quickly the bench, because there's not very much on the bench really, but what there is the box and a digital microscope that Big Clive put me onto. And I thought I'd show you that, just because I've got nothing else to show anybody, having not done anything for the past 2 weeks. And the interesting thing is that was, well, I'll show you it. It's here. And I thought it was just a screen with a microscope, but it also works as webcam. So I can show you it. I'll show you it through the PC, or at least I hope I will, if everything goes to plan, that is. So let me just find the appropriate scene. There we go. It is incidentally incredibly close focus. It's designed for PCB inspection, in case you're wondering, and I'll find a large thing like say an 0805 resistor. So really nice. Obviously you don't use it in this mode, and you can get other microscopes that do that. In fact, I've got one behind me. If I go to the if I go back to me again, about there, you probably can't make it out. There is a camera, but this thing, I'll just disconnect it now. You see, it has got a screen on it, which you see when you're actually doing it, and then when you give it something to look at, like your hand or something, you can focus in on things. Not that easy to demonstrate here, but works well. Okay, looking at the waffle meter, I can see that I'm going too far. Oh, Simon, you've disabled the waffle meter on transmit. How strange. Right, anyway, I better put up a test card and pass it to, I think it's ZS6YI, G0MJW.
Okay, gee whiz. I think Nigel said he might want to try. Nigel, would you like to try, and then you can pass it back to me? Mike 9 November Tango Romeo, please take it from ZA6YI. Said he might want to try. Nigel, would you like
M9 NTR.
back to me? Mike 9 November Tango Romeo, please take it from ZA6.
Well, let me tell you it. I said, okay, I went to start the FaceTime round and sod's law, I couldn't transmit, so I don't know what I did wrong. I had to reboot everything. Oh, one thing I did change, I changed my call sign. I put my name. It was my name face and call sign. I don't know if he didn't like that, so I put my call sign, then my name after, and I think it might. I don't know if I've got anything to do with it, but it's. Oh, so I've got YouTube on as well, and I can hear it, so I've just stopped it, and I've locked up. Oh no, I haven't. Yeah, I'm still working on the preamp. Still not got the. I've only got a standby one in at the moment, which is not a very good one. Still waiting for a colleague to help me repair the other one and install it and see if it's better. But I don't know. My I'm transmitting on -4 dB, so I could go a bit higher. But it seems to be okay. So yeah, terrible weather these last few days, off and on, heavy rain. It goes cold, and then today it's gone sunny for a couple of hours, and now going drop cold again. I'll be glad when spring comes. Well, I don't know if we're in spring now, actually. So I hope when summer comes. Terrible weather in the UK, what it makes you doing. But yeah, Simon, I'm running your latest version of SDR Television 1.9, which is pretty good. I mean, I'm not very that way inclined. Not technical minded too much, but yeah, it's what I've heard people saying. It's very good. One thing I've noticed is you can change. It automatically changes the channels on the spectrum. So once you click on it, you can do it, and it automatically changes the bit rate. You know, the SWR, not SWR, FEC. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember which word I'm looking for. But yeah, so it's all good from this end. Just still trying to get used to things and then improve things. And I'm going to start. Next thing I'm going to try to do the what's the word I'm looking for? OBS and get. I've got a test card up, but I don't know how to incorporate OBS. I'm looking for that for a moment. I'll come round again if there's a chance. Or I got nothing to say anyway. But so Gary, I'm going to hand it back to you when I've dropped carrier. From M9 NTR to net control SY. No, what is it? ZS6YI when I've dropped carrier. Thanks for letting me in, and I hope the signal report's not too bad. Dropping carrier now. Good luck. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. That was not a bad over at all. Okay. So good. It's coming right. And good on you, Nigel. At least you don't give up. That's fantastic. Benno, yeah, that 23 centimeter amp seems to be, or repeater seems to be coming on along nicely, and I hope you're going to have a lot of fun. I wish we had more activity around our part of the world to be able to build up a repeater and get things going. Phil, yeah, great over from you as usual. I see you had to turn on the heaters. Well, we got quite chilly, I must say, even though it's still sort of autumn. It got quite chilly the last few days, and we've had a bit of rain. So, yeah. And then what my only bit of ham radio was, I have an IC 7000 in the my white rolls, and I've got to go quite far tomorrow. It's about a 400 kilometer round trip. Got to go and see a mine up in northern part of our country, and I'm taking two chaps with me. So I thought, you know what, let me get this 2 meter going, because for some time I switch it on and it just comes on with a PTT. Not that I even undid the mic. I reset the little processor, kept on coming up with a red PTT and no audio. And this is some time back, so I thought, bugger, I'll do it some other time. So anyway, on Friday I thought, you know what, let me get this thing going. So I took it out the car, and I have another IC7000 that belonged to my son. So I took its head off, put it on, and it worked. No problem. So I just programmed it and checked the power output, 50 watts on 2 meters and 35 watts on 70 centimeters. Worked like a bomb, worked a few stations. And then I put the original head. I went back to the car, took the original head off, which was a bit of a nuisance because I double-sided taped it onto the woodwork so as not to drill holes and anything into the car. And anyway, got it off eventually. I had to cut it off sort of, but no, it didn't harm any woodwork or leather. No, did it properly. And then plugged it in, and lo and behold, it works. So I don't know what Murphy was doing. Anyway, I also tested that and reprogrammed it and took the original radio and the original head, put it back in the car, and it works beautifully. So great. It was the only bit that I've done in ham radio for some time, I can tell you. But it was good fun. I did open up the radio, and I thought, you know what, I did see that the signals were very low, and I resoldered the connector, because they have a stupid idea, especially on the 9700. They've got a bit of a dumb idea where they just have an open plug and a spring holds the N-type connector, or the PL259, which is not very scientific, and it can oxidize with time. And I thought the 9700 had the same stupid idea, but it wasn't. It was actually a piece of spring or a piece of metal bent into an L. So they put it in and then find the hole and then soldered it that way. So anyway, I resoldered that and put it on, and it still was not up to standard from a repeater S point of view. Then I found the culprit. It was an adapter that I used for a PL259 to an SO, to a N-type, and unless that thing was screwed very, very, very tightly, it gave an issue. So I tightened that properly, and then it worked very well. So actually there was nothing wrong with the rig, if I think of it, and nothing wrong with the control unit. But I think it could be the plug, the interconnecting plug might not have been totally home, although it did click in and all. But anyway, cleaned it up and it's all done. So that's the only bit I did. Right, Simon, I think you're taking the dog out for a walk, and I see Mike's going to come and assist you with the potty. Well, you couldn't have found a better guy to do that for sure. And I'm sure you'll get a couple of dB more. And Martin, yeah, I have commented, excellent signal, no problem. And all good. And Paul, yeah, you had an interesting week indeed. So from the cooking to the grandchildren and even driving the MG. So wonderful. Keep it up. And also trying to repair a Hoover or a vacuum cleaner with a remote control. Goodness knows why on earth one would have that. Although I wouldn't mind that, because when my maids are busy vacuuming, oh my God, these vacuum cleaners, if you want to make $1 million, develop a vacuum cleaner that's got a dead quiet motor, because those things drive me nuts. So if I had a remote control on that thing, I would have definitely switched the thing off, no doubt. Mike, great to see you again, and nice signal. Lip sync a bit funny, but you'll sort that out. And very interesting on that little handheld microscope. I've seen them advertised, and it certainly does. It does bring it up beautifully. And I was at a skin specialist earlier, and he did a little check on the nose, and he had now a fancy microscope. Nothing better than what I've got here. It's got a little pipe, and he took a nice picture, and he could show me it was inflamed, so he used a bit of nitrogen to zap it, and then gave me some ointment. But I thought, oh, that's not a bad idea to use a microscope like that to check things up, never mind PC boards. But other than that, I see you were away for about 2 weeks, you said, Mike. Well, let me tell you, we were about to go onto Police File and advertise. What happened to Mike? But I'm pleased to see you back and still experimenting. And we're looking forward to seeing a television station out of the headquarters there. That will be fantastic, eh? And as you say, a new QSL card. Not that I worry about QSL cards. We've got no postal service in South Africa. Oh, it's useless, totally gone. So we've got to rely on the South African Radio League to organize a bit of post. And so they do it via courier. But other than that, it's a bit of a difficulty. All right, I'm going to now also see that everyone's running around with a test card. I better put on a test card before I go off. So 7-3 from my side, I think we'll make us one more over, and then we can call it a day. So the next station will be Benno, Papa Alpha 3 Fox Bravo X-ray to take it, from ZS6YI and with a test card.
I wasn't completely ready. That is because I was doing some other stuff in the middle. But yeah, I think that's it. Let's see if there is still my face somewhere. Yeah. Fine signals from everyone. Nigel, great to see you back. Mike, as good as always. And a nice gadget you have over there. I have one of those micro optics for PCBs, but I also use my handy with the magnifier occasionally, and to have something like that lying around. I actually didn't hear the magnification size because I find my eyes getting worse, so the magnification needs to be increased all the times. But you can maybe tell me what is the magnification. But it looks a nice gadget, and I think yeah, one for the Christmas stocking or something like that. Okay, that's basically it. Simon, I just recently I upgraded from 1.01 to 1.06, and finding out that you have updated it again. I am using it normally on the terrestrial. I don't need it for the satellite. I'm not using it at all for the satellite, but I'm using your software actually quite a bit for the terrestrial part. And that might just get those things what you were talking about, adjacent channel filtering and things like that. I wonder how it will work there. We occasionally do some terrestrial testing here on 70 SAMs and on 23 SAMs, and we compare that also with the mini tuners we have. And well, the main advantage is obviously the band's view, so that makes it much more easier to adjust an antenna in the right direction. So the band view is obviously great, and yeah, locking is always a discussion, because as we have terrestrial, we have a lot of windmills, power generators and things like that, wind generators, and those create a lot of fading on our signals, especially on 23, but even on 70 SAMs. And we are actually also working towards 6 meters for a dedicated input on the local repeater, and I am going to create also for 6 meters some stable transmission possibilities. I actually have a 4 elements beam already on the mast for that. Yeah, on 6 meters even more fading can be happening. So yeah, I'm looking forward to test your software there. I think on the satellite it's easy, the signals are always perfect, and the fading is only marginal with some clouds and things like that. But I think on 6 meters and on the windmill, the blades coming by, you can see every blade on the band viewer. So looking forward to test your software there, and well, if we want to report something which is reproducible, we will surely tell it. We'll report it back to you. Okay. Well, in the meantime, you're probably walking your dog, but you might see it back on the recording. Okay. Well, nice to see everyone. Again, the weather over here is perfect today. We have a very nice weather day. Yesterday we had a very wet day, and tonight we get probably the rain, which is England is complaining at the moment. So yeah, it depends all on timing, and if we have it at the rain in the night, we don't mind at all. Passing it to the next on the list, Phil. Raspberries. Yeah, I have actually played with raspberries quite a lot over the last 5 years now, and I am using a program called Node-RED, and I love playing with Node-RED and controlling I/O with that. That's very simple, very logical, and we have the benefit of all the parts. And if you don't know something, you just type it in on the Google, and you get a nice video exactly showing how it works, how you should work with it, and that made a lot of more easy things for the Raspberry. Besides that, yeah, it's just a nice computer which does everything too fast for me, and that means if something goes wrong, it goes wrong really fast. Passing it to you from Papa Alpha 3 Foxtrot Bravo X-Ray 73 is all, and till the next. I'm not sure if I will be here on next week. It could be. We'll see. Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks, Benno. Yeah, Raspberry Pi, yeah. Definitely programming them. Easy when you know how, when you don't. Yeah, when you know how to do it, yeah, to toggle the IOs on it. When you know how to do it, yeah, it's easy. But when you don't, to get to the easy point, when you're not a programmer, even with all the YouTube stuff that's around, yeah. But yeah, a lot of frustration for me, as I say, I'm not a programmer. But when it does work, it's a lot of reward. Oh dear, but there you go. Yeah, I got there and it worked. So, yeah. Yeah, Mike, nice toy, mate. Yeah, 15 quid, eh? Yeah, looks pretty good. Yeah, don't think I'll invest in one because I've got something else to do that. But I can see it's useful. I can see that it'd be useful. But mind you, it's only 15 quid, so maybe. And Martin, yeah, keep an eye on those stats, mate. Yeah, and that's what you need. To keep an eye on those stats. And when the old engineer comes, just show him all the stats. Because as you said, your router rebooting. It's no fault of the router. It's all these disconnects it's getting and all this rubbish. And just keep those stats and show him. It's definitely shouldn't be behaving like that. Definitely not. Gary, yeah. Problem with your connector. Yeah, only it was last week when I was working on this Whisper, working on the PA, trying to get some power out of it. And stuck it on the analyzer. And I thought, well, it should be kicking out about plus 20, I think it was 23, but plus 20 dB. And it was actually pushing out minus 20, according to the analyzer. And I spent quite a bit of time trying to sort this out, thinking it was the circuit, etc., etc. And say it's only on 14 megs. So I put the scope on it, and there was really nice big signal there, and yet the analyzer was telling me it was minus 20. And at that point I suspected the cable. And yeah, similar problem. The connector, one of the connectors on it is, it looks all right, but it needs to be very tight. Too tight, really. And only then will it make proper connection. And it's something that I've forgotten about, even though I was only playing around with it last week, and I must cut it off and re-terminate it with another connector. But yeah, so when I replaced the cable with another one, and there it was, over plus 20 on the analyzer. So yeah, connectors. Right, well, it's really enough for me. Don't really have much more to talk about. I'm not sure what I'll be doing next week or this week. I'm sure I'll find something to do, or somebody will find something for me to do. That's more to the point. Right, so who's on the list? Well, Nigel's there, but he's already had a go. So, and he's on there twice. So, if it's okay with you, Nigel, I'm going to hand it over to Simon, and then you can have your turn after Mike. So I shall find myself a test card, and then I shall hand it over to Simon.
Walking the dog. which you've been paying attention there, Phil. And yet, anyway, it's all good fun. Right, let's mute the sound there so I don't confuse myself. Yeah, we'll keep the logs. I did try and download a log earlier, which from the BT router you can have everything, all, or you can filter out and just look at the WAN or whatever. But I did that, and that didn't seem to be working on the filtering side. So whether it's got itself, it was downloading a earlier thing that so it's perhaps that to sort itself out. But I could download all. There was I think they were at 4 o'clock this morning, and around about 9 o'clock I think there was 2 errors. I think I saw. I think that was the time. But I get up so early, and usually around about 5 o'clock, if not earlier. And usually I test this dodgy software that you can get, and just make sure everything's working. But yeah, the outside weather here. Let's have a look at the network camera. Yep, we've actually got a bit of sun at the moment, and it's 10 degrees, 10.4 degrees outside. A bit breezy and cold, knowable. But it's probably raining in a minute, I should think, so we won't hang around there for much. But, yep, not got any more to really add. But, other than to Paul, yeah, being politics are so sort of quiet in the UK now, you must be bored. That's all I can say with monitoring the UK side of things. Anyway, that's enough of that. Right, I'll put up a test card, pop it around to Peter there, who's learnt how to solder now, I hear. 7-3 to everybody, and perhaps catch you next week. From GHKOE.
Too many buttons. Too many buttons. I did sell a test card, but it didn't come through. I assume I've got audio, I don't know. Yeah. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Video picture. I'm not using H.265 now. I was on H.264. I was playing with it some time ago. Previous Sunday, maybe. I can't remember. Yeah, all good. Thanks for letting me in there, Gary. And I don't know if I'm on next week. I don't expect so. I'll be working. Hopefully I will have done a bit more. Maybe with the weather getting a bit brighter and a bit sunny, I might get out and put an area up for 70 centimetres. And then maybe receive the repeater, our local amateur television repeater, if it goes up on the air. It's down at the moment. One of our members, Chris, who's a good lad, and he's been working on it to upgrade the repeater. 10 years, I think he's been doing it. He's obviously doing a very, very good job. So I'm looking forward to seeing that working. Hopefully, some of us that have been waiting so long have all but passed on. But all right. Yeah. Do I want to say the old car? I'm glad you're getting the old car going. I've got nothing for old cars. I've got to say, it's just not my thing. Old stuff, rusty old cars. I used to have to drive them at one time, and they were always terrible things. Didn't start, and if they did start, they start today but not tomorrow, and you had to pull the choke out and just hit the throttle a couple of times, and if you just got it right, it got going. Otherwise, it wouldn't run. If the day ended with a Y, it wouldn't run. So more modern the better, as far as I'm concerned. Old cars are for the scrapyard. On that bombshell, I'll hand it round to whoever's next. Not that I like to be controversial in any way. I'll even go with a test card, not a scrapyard, a test card. Shall we give it a go? Why am I not seeing? Yeah, not getting the right things happening.
Okay, I must be the one next, I think. Okay, watched you all. First of all, Mike, I envy your clean desk. I do not know how you do it. There must be a part of your shack that we don't see. Yeah. Okay, SDR television is doing fine. At least watching your signal. And I loved the digital microscope. That is something that I also will need, because I noticed that when you're getting older, the eyes are not getting better. Yeah. Nigel, you had a successful transmission finally, so that was good. And Gary, the quality of adapters, RF adapters, that really can be bad. That's also my experience. And you like the remote control on the vacuum cleaner? Well, perhaps I can send a link of the Bosch device, but I do not recommend. And Benno, indeed, the release updates of SDR television do come faster than what we can implement. At least that is applicable for me. Martin, I liked the flowers in the background. Thank you. Board regarding politics, when you're talking about Nigel Farage in England, that's really quiet, so there I'm bored. But further at a more geo level, you cannot get bored at the moment. But again, I'm not commenting on it. Okay, that's it. Have a good week to all, and 73s from the Netherlands.
Right, I think it's me next anyway. Hopefully you're getting a picture. It's been chucking it down with rain here. It's only just stopped. But hopefully it was not too much. It was a bit high at the beginning. Nothing new to add, really. But good to see the net again. I doubt I'll be on next week, but you never know. And just testing SDR television. So things might not be quite right. According to Simon, I'm running 7.5 frames per second, and according to the overlay I am as well, and yet it's set to 15, so something's not quite right. Got to work out what that is, but it's possibly my fault, I don't know. So the video will be very jerky. Don't know quite why it's doing what it's doing, but there you go. Teething issues, no doubt. Okay. 7.3, and I presume it's Nigel again. Your signal was fine, Nigel. You'll just have to have some faith in it working, rather than thinking that it's not, because it was. M9NTR, G0MJW.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I've got audio, yeah. M9 NTR retaining, yeah. I forgot to comment, Paul. For your first over and your second over, couldn't get you at all, mate. In the quad ranks, it was a circle all the way round. So I don't know if it's my end or what, but everybody else I got okay. But just only one of your, just bone you both overs, Paul. You know, it was no show for me for, I don't know, whatever reason. I'll have to look back on the video and see if I can see any settings. But yeah, other than that, I got everybody. I ain't got anything else to say other than that about the report. Gary, okay. Martin, I sympathise with your intermittent problem with your BT line or router. You never seem to want to repair it or get to the fault. Have they tried changing the router? I don't know if you say you've got fibre optic, because I've got one thing, I've got fibre optic, which you have two boxes. You have your router and then you've got your fibre optic on the wall, on that. I suppose that changes it. Yeah, so that's it. Anyway, yeah, I'll be on next week. Yeah, trust the software, Mike. Yeah, I'll have to. More often things go wrong than go put right. And I know the reason one of the issues was silly me. I put the plug with the laptop in and the mains power. Well, thought I had mains power, but no, it was running on batteries. That was probably half the problems. So I managed to swap the power cable out and I managed to get it on mains power before the charge went out. So problem's always my end. It's more me doing, but that's got to live with it. Yeah, going to work on it. Next project, going to work on OBS and interface that. So I'm going to hand it back to Net Control ZS6YI. Gary, thank you for running the net. As always, a good lad. And look forward to seeing you all next week. M9 NTR. Now dropping carrier and handing over to
Bit of a funny mouse I have here. You've got to click it, then it comes in and goes. Anyway, Nigel, that was a good over. One bit of advice, perhaps, Nigel. You have a door behind you with a glass, and there's a lot of light shining through there. So it sometimes looks as though you have a halo. Perhaps you can hang a calendar over that. When you move and you cover that, oh, beautiful signal, beautiful picture. So perhaps you can look at that, look at playback on one of, on your video today, and you'll see what I mean. So if you just hang a candle, you got some blue, I don't know if it's an apron or a dress or something hanging there, but it doesn't cover it totally. So you do that and you'll improve your picture quality quite a lot. Anyway, with that, we're going to say 7-3, close the net. Thanks to everyone for coming up. And yeah, I wanted to comment now. Let me see who it was. Oh, Phil. Phil, what I noticed on your signal at one stage, your call sign came up and then it disappeared. Then it came up and then it disappeared. And when you put your test pattern on, everything came right again. So there was a bit intermittent there, unless you've done that on purpose. That I can't tell you. And right, Peter, excellent signal from you. Nice quality, as usual. I hope my quality is okay. I found that things on my camera were set incorrectly. I don't know who touched the button, but somebody did. So I corrected it just now, and it seems to be a lot better contrast and color and what have you. It was out. Maybe I did it. Who knows? Okay, Mike, good to see you. I hope we see you next week, and great on the good work there. And with that, I'll say 7-3 to everybody and close the net. I'll put this test card back up again. I don't often use it, but let's go for it. This is ZS6YI with a DATV Net, now closing station.